Okay, so this video is going to be for parts 9, 10, 11, and 12, which I think these are the first ones that have any sort of curved situation. So we'll start with part 9. And for part 9, we're going to do subtractive. We'll start with a chunk that's the maximum dimension. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 this way, and 4 deep. Then we're going to cut away this curve, and we're actually going to do a round over instead of a cut on that side. It's called a fillet, not a fillet. And so we'll start with our chunk and then cut away what we don't want. In fact, let's just go ahead and do full screen F11. Okay, sketch on the front face. We can turn off the visibility of our origin planes. And we want a rectangle, might as well snap it to 0, 0. Dimension it to 6 tall and 9 wide. Zoom out a little bit, finish sketch. Look at it from a corner and extrude and decide what we want to extrude. Okay, and we want to extrude it for. And check mark. Okay, so there is our first chunk. We can turn off the origin point there. And we're going to do this in 2 other steps. First one, let's use the fillet tool, which is this one right here. You can see from the little pictograph what it's going to do. It's going to round over a corner, and we want to round over this corner. And the dimension that you put in is the radius of the curve, which in this case, the radius is 2, which you could figure out. Well, first, they have a little center mark here to give you a little help that this is the point where it is equidistant to every part of this arc comes to here. So that means its radius is 2. You also could figure out that the arc ends here and draw a line straight down, and the arc ends here and draw a line straight over. And that point right there is the center point also. But, or you could just trust me that it's 2. And so we're going to get the fillet, not fillet, fillet. And we're going to choose the edge that we want to fillet, which is this edge. And we need to change the radius to 2 and hit OK. There we go. That is a fillet. Nice and easy, rounded over. We could do that for the right side or for the other portion, but the way you'd have to do it is by cutting out a chunk and then doing it like a positive fillet, which would look something like this, where you put a sketch on the front, and I'll just go ahead and do it both ways. Make the rectangle of this requires a little more inference of what the dimensions should be. So you can tell from my tone that this is not the way I recommend doing it, but you would extrude this, do remove through all, then you should be able to do it like a positive fillet. There we go. In this case, the radius would be 3. So that technically is correct, but I don't want to do it that way. The way we're going to do this is we're going to put a sketch on the front. Sketch on the front here. And we're going to draw a giant circle that is actually bigger than what's there. And we know that its center point, if you drew a line on this edge, this top front edge that way, and this edge this way, where they connect is actually the corner of this corner right here. So what we can do in this particular case is put a sketch on the front and look at it straight on and get a regular 2-point circle or center point circle. First click is on the corner here. Second click is somewhere out in space. And we'll get the dimension tool. And just like dimensioning the line, first click is on the edge of the circle, and second click is somewhere out in space. And you'll notice that because it is a circle, it has this symbol right here as its dimensional indicator symbol, whatever. Okay, this symbol right here means, well, some cases it means null or 0. In this case, it means diameter. So the dimension, you're saying whatever number you put in here is the distance all the way across the circle. Okay, for an arc, the dimension is its radius. So our 3-point arc would be, if we were doing it like that, okay, you can see its dimension is r, meaning that it's like if we put a dimension on this, you can see what it's dimensioning to the center point, not all the way across, like the way that this one is dimensioning all the way across. It's not super important, other than that you know what you're actually, the number you're putting in is the number, which number you want it to be. And in this case, we want the diameter for this to be 6, because the radius of this, again, if we drew this line straight out, come on. If we drew this line straight out this way and this line up this way, it would meet right here, which is right here. And if we counted back, we would know that it's 3, which means the radius is 3, which means the diameter is 6. Okay, let's finish the sketch. Look at it from a corner. And you might not be able to see everything from that corner, but we will extrude, choose, well, it does let you choose both. We're only really worried about this wedge right here. We want to switch it to remove. It knows to switch the direction, and we can set the distance to 4 or anything greater than 4, but really best practice is just change the word blind to through all and hit okay. And there you go, there's part 9. And let's make a new part, new document, part 10. And part 10, similar, same. We're going to start with the full chunk, which is 2, 5, 10 across, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 tall, and 4 deep. So we're going to start with a sketch on the front face, turn off our origin planes, look at it straight on, get a rectangle, dimension it to 10 wide and 6 tall. Finish the sketch, look at it from a corner, extrude, choose our rectangle, even though that's the only thing we could extrude, and extrude it 4. Okay, we can turn off this origin plane in the back there, or origin point. Why are you not turning off? Okay, there we go. All right, so this cutaway, pretty simple. It is an arc, and with an arc, sometimes it's easier to just make the full circle because it will always count it as a closed loop. Where sometimes when you make an arc, if you just use the arc tool, which isn't up here because I don't have an active sketch, the arc tool is easier to mess up. The circle tool will always be a perfect circle. Just like using lines versus using a rectangle. A rectangle will always be a perfect rectangle. So we can put a sketch on the front. We'll get a circle. We know that the center point of the circle is snaps or should snap to the center point of this top edge. So you'll get like a little, in this case, a little orange square that lets you know you are exactly on the center point. It kind of snaps to it. And we'll make a circle about that big. And the radius was 3, so the diameter is 6. We will finish the sketch, look at it from a corner. And I'm starting to like this bottom front right corner just because of the way the lighting works in this. Maybe I can forget that. Figure out lighting situation. But either way, we want to extrude, and we really only need to extrude the bottom, but why not? And we'll switch it to remove. and through all. There you go. There's part 10. 11. All right. So 11 is certainly a lot trickier. And we can, well, first step is obvious, part 11. And so we need to break it down into like part features. Okay, so we've got sort of this long low part, which is sort of this shape. And if I like ignoring this sort of tower part to start, we could make this shape looking straight down and extrude it 2. And then we'll make this shape looking on that face again and cut extrude it all the way through. And then we'll worry about the other part later. Okay. So this first part, we are just going to make this shape, which counting all the way over is 4 to here, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 this way. So we can make a rectangle sort of on the plane facing up that's 4 by 9. And then an arc or circle that is on the end, and that will sort of be our full base, our footprint. So let's start a sketch on the face that says top. Okay, so it should be sort of flat at this point. It doesn't really matter because there isn't really an up for us. And these parts aren't going to be connected to anything else, so it doesn't really matter, but you might as well use, do it the best way. Okay, so we need a rectangle, and this rectangle is going to be 9 this way and 4 this way. And then we just have a circle on the end. And if you follow along, okay, this center mark right here, because there are these extension center marks all the way out, that means it's the center mark for this arc. It's the center mark for this arc also. So we can count from here, it's 2 this way and 2 this way. We know that the center of this arc is centered on our first rectangle, or on the short side of our first rectangle. Okay, so let's get a circle. We'll snap it to, we'll find the center point of this edge. First click and second click is on the corner of this edge, or the corner of our rectangle. And you'll notice that we haven't put any dimensions on it, but it's already black, and that's because we snapped it both times, essentially dimensioning it. Okay, and so we'll finish sketch. We'll look at it from our main corner. We can extrude, choose this, choose everything, and extrude it to it. Okay. Okay, so that's our base. The next step is going to be to draw and cut out this portion here. It's sort of pill shaped. And we can do that by, if we find this center point, we can connect it to this center point and do 1 circle here, 1 circle here, and then connect with lines or connect with rectangles. However we cover up all of this shape, it doesn't really matter. So we can use this center point, draw a circle with a diameter of 2. Then I'm going to dimension, put another diameter of 2 circle straight over that's separated by 1, 2, 3. Let's just do that first. So we can start a sketch on the surface here. And I should get a snap to a center point over here. If I don't, I'm going to be disappointed. No, I don't get a snap. Oh, wait, do I? Saw something there. Yeah, there we go. So it'd be nice if it, let's see, hold on. Does use work? What if we use? Yeah. All right. So if you click on use, which is this tool right here, and then click on the edge of use, and then click on the arc of the part right here, it will project that point so that you can see what you want to snap onto. So we need a circle that's centered here and dimension that to 2 because it's the diameter. And we need another circle over here, and I'm not sure. So it'd be nice if we got some sort of soft snap that let us know that we were lined up. Oh, well, there you go. All right, so this is a little trickier, and I can show you a more foolproof method. But so I want a circle that lines up exactly horizontally with the center of this circle, but it's not giving me any sort of snap. If I mouse over without clicking the center point here and travel out this way, you can see I get like a soft snap there, which is what that dotted line would be. And so I can from there make another 2-inch circle. Dimension this to 2. And then in order to make sure they're the correct distance apart, which was 3, with the dimension tool, I can dimension the distance between the center points, which I don't know why it's not clicking there. Okay, so the more foolproof method would be to just, once you have your first circle that snaps to here, draw a line from here, make sure it snaps to horizontal, and then dimension that line. That will give you something solid to connect to with our other circle. And dimension this to 2. And it doesn't really matter where you put your dimensions or where you actually set the dimension, as long as it's sort of out of the way, like that. Okay, and then we just need to close off this area, which, let's see if it even gives me a snap to top center. Yeah, it's doing that same thing where you can like mouse over and do that, but let's just do this in 2 rectangles because that way we won't have to do that. So with a rectangle from here going this way, we should be able to snap to the corner there. Yeah. So if you get somewhere near the top, I don't necessarily trust, you see, it's not like snap, it's snapping to the circle. This is getting a little unnecessarily tedious, and that's just because of Onshape. Either way, we'll just put in all the dimensions so that we know it's correct. So this one would be 1 in this direction, and we'll do the same thing the other direction. So we can just to make sure it doesn't snap to anything incorrectly, just make it bigger than everything. So this also needs to be 3. And this is 1. Okay, so this is certainly not the most efficient way to do this. If you get good at that mousing over and get the dotted, marching ants, soft snap line thing, you can do it in a lot fewer dimensions, but this is what we're working with, and all on the same sketch. That's important. That's an easy mistake to make, is to put some of these lines on different sketches, which it would look correct, but it wouldn't let you extrude it because it's sort of like different pieces of paper on that surface. Okay, so we have this, and we'll go ahead and extrude and make sure we choose everything. There we go. And switch it to remove and change blind to through all. Hit OK. All right, so that's the first portion. And the second portion, it is so a footprint of 4 by 4, so it travels the entire distance front to back and 4 wide. Then we could, why don't we do a 4 by 4 by 4 brick sort of block cube thing. Then we can fill it over these 2 edges in a single move, and then make this circle, which will be super easy in a single move. So let's put a sketch on this top surface. And we look at it straight on, that's fine. And oh, I didn't select. You can tell I didn't select because the sketch 3 is still red. There we go. Choose that surface for sketching. Let's get a rectangle that snaps to the corner of our part and snaps to the back somewhere. And you can see where we're sketching from that. And only one line is blue, and that's because we don't have to dimension the front to back distance because we snapped it to edges. We just need to dimension the distance from this blue line to the side, and then dimension in between, and that needs to be 4 as well. Okay, and once we have this, we can then extrude, choose this, and we're extruding this up the total height and then cutting away most of it. Okay. Okay, then these two rounded over surfaces, even though it's a solid arc, because of the way the shape is, where it's 4 wide this way and the radius of the arc is 2, we can just do a couple of fillets on this edge and this edge, and it will round it over perfectly. And so let's go ahead and fillet. Let's choose this edge and this edge, and it shouldn't be 3, it should be 2. And hit OK. And then the hole in the middle, we need to draw a sketch on the front and get a circle. And once again, the center point of our circle, the center point of this circle that has a diameter of 2 is the same center point of the arc. So if we project that edge and center point, we can just use it without having to dimension it. So we'll use click on the edge here, and now we get that center point to snap. I already had the sketch going. And let's do a circle. And we want to dimension this circle to its diameter, which is 2. And we'll finish sketch, extrude, look at it from a corner, choose that, switch it to remove, and through all. Hit OK. And there you go. That is part 11. Let's close it and create a new document. Part 12. And let's look at 12. All right, so part 12, similar. We don't have to do that weird rectangle shape again. We just have, let's do the full base in one move. Extrude it down. Then both of these circles, cut, extrude them down. And then we'll worry about the top. We'll do it very similar to the other one, but the base is a rectangle that's 2, 6, 7, 8 by 4. And then these circles are the same. They share the center points and the corners. So we can just let's start a sketch on the top plane, just because. And let's look at it from top. And we can make a rectangle that is 8 by 4. And then circles on the end that snap to the center point and snap to the corner. And you don't need to dimension them because we're using the snaps. And we can finish sketch, extrude, choose everything. Missed something back there. There we go. And this part is too tall. Okay, we can turn off origin plane or origin point. And just like before, both these circles are 2-inch circles. And the center point here shares the center point of the arc. And same on the other side. So we can just project those edges using the use tool. So we need to start a sketch on this surface here. We can get use, intersection, just the basic use tool. Click on this arc and click on this arc. And we've projected those points. Let's get a circle. And one of them here and another one here. And we need to dimension them both to 2. Finish the sketch and extrude, choose this circle and this circle, switch it to remove and through all. Hit OK. All right, and then the other part we'll do the same way we did the last one, where we sort of have its footprint, which its footprint is, come on, pen. Sorry. Its footprint is 4 this way and 4 this way, which is the entire depth front to back. But the difference now is this rectangle is just going to kind of be floating. So we are going to need to dimension its distance from a known point, which it's the one side should be 2 from our center point of our other circle. And you'll see, let's start a sketch on the top. Look at it straight on, and we know this rectangle starts on the back edge and snaps to the front edge. So we don't have to worry about depth. We do need to worry about its width, which is the distance from this line to this line, and that's 4. But those lines are still blue, and that's because we haven't dimensioned the location of this, which in order to do that, we need something to snap onto, like one of these center points. So let's use that edge, and now we have a center point, and we're going to dimension the distance from the side of this rectangle to that center point, and that should be 2. And now it's all the lines are black, which makes it fully constrained. And we have our base. Let's finish the sketch and extrude it up, which its height above where we are. We're extruding from this face. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tall to get to the highest point. So let's put a 5 in there. And then we'll just do our fillet, which again, because the center mark goes all the way out, we can just do our regular fillet from here. So fillet this front edge and this back edge. It's already 2 from before, so there we go. And then the hole that goes through the center is that same center mark and diameter of 2. So let's put a sketch on the side. And then we need something to snap onto. So we'll use the use, click on this edge, and we get that center mark to use. And we'll make a circle and dimension that to 2. Finish the sketch, extrude, choose that, and switch it to remove and remove all. And hit OK. And we are assuming that it's all the way through, but that's fine. Okay, and that is parts, what will we do? 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, good luck.